Hello! Welcome to Mall Talkers. I'm Michael Paskett, aka The Mall Guy, and this is the show where retail and mall pros come to talk some shop. In 30 minutes or less, I'm bringing you conversations from the strategists, the operators, and innovators driving the evolution of malls today. You'll leave with tactics, stories, and trends shaping what malls were, where malls have been, and what they're becoming. So pull up a chair, grab a coffee, and let's talk some malls. Today, we've got another very special guest, Elliot Goldford, overseeing the product and engineering from American Dream. Today's topic, how American Dream built a digital wayfinding experience for retail and entertainment. Elliot, welcome.
Hey, nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant. How are you doing today? I know that I obviously know a lot about you. We've talked many times per week. Can you explain who you are, where you've been, what you do, and what you've been doing so that listeners can hear?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with 555, which is our parent company, coming up to 10 years. Started with the company right out of college. I was initially working at our sister property, West Edmonton Mall in Western Canada and Alberta. Started there in more of a project management role, overseeing the development of a loyalty application that they were building at the time. From there, I had the opportunity to transfer over to American Dream roughly about 2 years before its scheduled opening to build up and be part of the product development team. Since then, I've sort of grown within the division to this point now, overseeing the team. We are focused on most consumer-facing digital interactions and applications, as well as a large portfolio of internal tools and applications for our employees. So we're kind of working between both what's facing our customers and facing our employees, and also some technology that relates with our partners and tenants and things of that nature.
Sounds like you don't do enough things. I feel like you should be doing more within that. No, very extensive knowledge within there. I would say it's probably a good hop from Edmonton to New Jersey in terms of the weather in general. I'd imagine that was liked.
Yeah, it was good, but we have an indoor ski hill here, so I still get some runs in.
Perfect. That actually sets me up for my first question. So American Dream, for those that don't know, over 3 million square feet, 450 plus stores, Nickelodeon theme park, indoor ski slope, largest indoor water park on the continent. It's got a myriad of things, and it's truly astounding to, I can say this, but going to the venue and seeing it firsthand is amazing. Like the pure scale of what you're dealing with is vast. How do you go about designing wayfinding discovery tools, anything digital that serves all of these people, all of these types of things that have varying levels of intent?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, I think the ownership group built the actual physical infrastructure in a way that lends itself to some of those challenges and also the business objectives that we have. So, our core anchor attractions, for example, being DreamWorks Water Park and Nickelodeon Universe theme park, are situated in parts of the center that are inaccessible to park right next to. So you actually need to park at one of our decks or lots and move through some set of our common space, which is comprised of our retail and dining options, to help drive foot traffic past those venues. So we try to cross market the different experiences, even though a subset or sometimes a large subset of our guests in the building are intent on going to that one experience. So, the physical infrastructure was built in a way that, is both easy to navigate, but also helps to drive, the business objectives that we have. Um, we partner really closely with our internal teams. We have in-house design teams who are managing the physical signage, our operations teams, from the parking team that are managing guests coming through to park at our various decks. and it's all a cohesive unit, ultimately there to serve our guests and give them a streamlined process. I think the other challenges that we've faced in the last few years as we got opening is, first off, we're physically located, surrounded by two of the largest and most frequented highway networks in North America. So it's not typical to other shopping centers around the world where you might just be off of a standard road and it's easy to sort of get in and out of. It sometimes be a little confusing, and especially for our first time guests who are not from the area to actually get to a point where they're then looking for parking. So that's sort of the first challenge that we face or have faced. Beyond that, we're also um, a brand new property, or at least we have been. So there was not a historical amount of knowledge that our guests were having, because no one had ever been into the center at the time. So there was an educational hurdle, and how we approach that is try to look at the holistic customer journey from discovery, whether that be on a social channel or a news article or hearing from family and friends, to disseminating the information that's most critical for them at that point to plan their visit, convert them into a customer, and then all the other elements that go into planning their stay, where to park, which entrance is most critical for where they're trying to go experience. What are the different policies around that, from from parking, guest services if you're needing stroller or wheelchair rentals, things of that nature. So we try to really we try to put a lot of emphasis on the information architecture within our digital assets. Again, trying to get ahead of the game before they actually pull up here to park and enter into the center, so that they are hopefully more well equipped and more knowledgeable than just showing up and figuring it out, which can at times be disorienting, especially in some of our peak periods. So trying to get ahead of the game, really looking at that full life cycle, leveraging things like pre-visit emails, things like that to really help them plan their visit accordingly and make it as most of a streamlined experience as possible. And we're continuing to invest into that through our technology stack. One example of something that we've done the last year was allow customers to append their license plate number to their profile. So once they pull up, it's completely touchless entry for parking. They're prepaid. They don't have to do anything or worry about anything. So we're constantly trying to think about how we can solve for those pain points along the holistic guest journey.
Yeah, it sounds, just hearing all that, the theme I'm gathering is proactivity and anticipating the needs of your guests before they even need to know, or anticipating potential challenges throughout the venue before they know it's a challenge, to kind of equip them to choose to use those.
Yeah, and I would say we're really diligent on that customer feedback loop. For the first couple of years of opening, we intentionally went with a very high touch customer service approach, where we weren't really trying to automate as much, because we wanted to really listen to each customer's feedback or question on a one-to-one basis and sort of synthesize that to then adjust how we're operating, how we're structuring content, and try to understand where those critical pain points are. We, on a weekly basis, read almost every single one of our reviews and ratings and try to extract where there's been areas to improve on. And it's obviously a constant evolving process, but we've definitely managed to solve for some of the larger pain points that we've experienced since opening.
Definitely. It sounds like you're using the shopper as your compass for the strategy, in terms of listening to them, making iterations to help guide them, to help guide your strategy on what you should be doing, instead of just subjectively saying, this is how we should be doing things, which is
Yeah,
exciting.
and I think that again, being a new property, it's a challenge to make that first conversion, to get them to come check us out. And it's really critical that we earn their loyalty and their repeat business as well. We are positioning ourselves as a destination in the market that almost is second nature when you're thinking of a place to go or a thing to do, and
Mhm.
we want to position ourselves like that. So ensuring that our customers are satisfied and that they're maybe not experiencing the same challenges as they may have on their first visit is really critical to us.
Yeah. And where do you think, or like, how do you think about the experiences across the different platforms, like digital signage, web, the different chats, QR codes, parking, like whatever the channel might be or the area it might be in? How do you keep them consistent? Or do you even want to keep them all consistent where it's, maybe in this area or this channel, it's a unique um, offering?
Yeah, so I think the ultimate goal for us definitely is to achieve consistency. So, that goes beyond just the digital realm. Like I mentioned, we partner pretty closely with our in-house design team. One example of that is that our center is actually divided into what we refer to as courts, somewhat of different neighborhoods. There's different design elements in those experiences, and then there's also different sort of color palettes. So we tried, and that's represented in the physical signage as well, beyond just inside of our walls, but in our parking decks too. So, for example, you might have one that's a purple shade for the signage within there. We try to represent that into our digital experiences and wayfinding and directory. Obviously, as you may know, partnering with the Mappedin team to style our map to be our digital map rather to be a reflection of the physical experience has been, a big win for us. So, you'll see on the digital map experience our garden or our ice rink or the wave pool, roller coasters, things like that to really help reflect what the in-person experience is. The other thing I would say is that we try to really invest into enabling our customers to access our digital properties by whatever means they're either most used to or most comfortable with. So, for instance, we have sets of interactive touch directories, but we also invest into mobile personal device experiences. So there might be a digital QR code that you can scan from our touch directory to really take that on your own and enable our guests to get the information in a way that they're most comfortable and used to. Uh, we also really try to invest into as many channels as we can. Again, we do have to obviously prioritize where we're rolling things out as time goes on, but that might be, SMS, WhatsApp, social messaging platforms such as Instagram and Facebook Messenger. So not only the actual digital infrastructure, but the communication channels or the way that you're accessing through it is something that we pay close attention to. Again, not only are we a big destination within the immediate market, but we're investing a lot into the international market, and that brings in new challenges and new technologies that other markets might be more familiar with. So we're continuing to invest into that as we grow into the tourism side of things.
Which is exciting. I will say or ask, can you walk me through like the experience and what it actually looks like for a first time visitor? Like what touch points hit them from the moment they arrive to when they arrive at their destination to their discovering and like everything in between?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think it gets a little bit nuanced in the type of visit
Sure.
that they are coming for. Definitely a large majority of, or not majority, but a large segment of our customers are coming here to experience one of our flagship attractions, and then they might do some shopping, some dining. Obviously, you have plenty of individuals that are coming here strictly to shop. Especially around some of the peak seasons for shopping. So, I think that's where the first part of the experience happens, because there are areas of the center where you might park in that are really strictly just retail. And, if you're coming to, let's say, go to the water park and you park in one of the further decks, it can be depending on where you park, it can be, a decent walk. So, I think that if they haven't necessarily done some level of research on their pre-visit, which uh, it happens a lot for sure, there
Mhm.
can sometimes be a little bit of surprise, or I don't want to say necessarily confusion, because it's their first time, they're not necessarily knowing what to expect, but there can be a little bit of a surprise on where they are to where they need to get to. Each one of our entrances is flanked by three large digital directories. So right off the bat, you do have something that you can interact with. There's plenty of QR codes as well that lead to our website directory too. We have a lot of staff that are there to help as well. Um, so many times they'll know where they're trying to get to. They just might not be in the right place. So I think the first step for them is to arrive at that point. More often than not, vast majority of our customers are pre-purchasing tickets to our attractions ahead of time. So it's a lot more of a streamlined check-in process. And then they're going through, they're enjoying. Our flagship attractions are typically several hours in stay that they're experiencing them, and then they'll likely uh, either do one of these smaller attractions like a mini golf or a mirror maze, one of those. Um, Go and do some shopping. There's dining layered into there. We have quite a large selection of dining options and dining within our core dining categories, which is quick serve, so traditional food court style dining, and then we have a incredible portfolio of sit down fine dining. So that's typically towards the end of their stay to cap that off, and then maybe depending on which demographic, they might go to one of the bars or one of the more later night activities. We have our Hasbro Arcade, which is great. It's open later than most of the other entertainment venues, and we see a lot of guests ending their evening there, and then they're off.
I would say sign me up. I'm sold. I mean, I've already been there. But I will say, like, and this is relating it to Mall of America, which is owned by your parent company. This is a bit of a personal story, but I remember way back in the day, back when the amusement park was Camp Snoopy and not what it currently is, and there was the rights within there. But our highlight of a trip up to Minnesota, my family's in Minnesota, was we stayed near a hotel somewhere near, went to the Mall of America, went to Camp Snoopy, stayed the entire day. Sisters went shopping. I went to the Warhammer store at the time, which was there, had dinner. It was a full day event. Couldn't have asked for a better core memory. It had everything. I'm the oldest of 5. And I think this is going to be a question. Like, it had a little bit of something for everyone. Like, at the time, I think I was 15, all the way to my youngest my youngest sister, who was probably 6 at the time. Parents were able to do something. Kids were able to do something. How do you think about offering something for everyone, but making it concise enough to make sense to everyone?
Yeah, so that's one of the challenges that I think all 3 of our properties share, is that the vastness of offerings are quite large. We like to say that we're not everything for everyone, but there is something for everyone within our
Clever.
venues. So I think that luckily for myself, the technology has enabled us to really get more segmented and targeted, both from a marketing approach. So we're able to tell more than one story to one audience. We're able to really segment out content to the right people of interest, depending on what they fall into. And the technology at this point is really catching up to where brands can invest in having hyper personalized content and experiences on definitely on their digital entities. So we're really investing into that, partially out of a need, because it's very challenging with a finite budget to be able to adequately talk to all of those different market segments and to provide them with the experience that they're looking for. So we're investing a lot into that these coming months and years, into our tech stack, to be able to both allow our customers to indicate to them what their preferences are or what their interests are, and as well as to have our digital assets learn based on interactions and conversions what they are going to be most likely interested in knowing about, or purchasing, or experiencing. We're constantly evolving in all 3 of our core segments: entertainment, dining, and retail. There's almost on a weekly basis a new opening within one of those segments, more so on the retail side of things. And we want to make sure that our customers are informed. I think something I learned very early on is that people don't necessarily hate. I'm going to use the word hate, but they don't necessarily hate being marketed to. Where there's discomfort is being marketed to something that's not relevant to you. So if we can execute on a way where we're delivering content and news on offerings and openings and events in a way that's hitting what they're interested in, then we're going to see our engagement and our conversion sort of follow suit with that. So we're really sort of strategizing about that, especially as we've now come to a much more mature point in our opening, where we've hit a certain amount of volume. We're doing upwards of 500 to 600 events a year here. So there's just a lot of different experiences and content that we can deliver to. So, I think it's the right time for us to invest in making sure that we can tell the right stories to the right people and at the right time.
That's absolutely wild. That's a lot of events. That's like 2 per day. Kudos to you. This is actually, I hear there's a big event coming your way anyway soon.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
don't know what, I don't know who. If you can share about that, I think that is going to be really cool to talk about because it's happening. I'm sure you guys are beyond excited and prepping for it. Is this something you want to share?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you're referring to FIFA World Cup.
What? Yes.
Yeah, so major event, obviously, both nationally and internationally. We're expecting a ton of traffic to come our way. The matches take place adjacent to us in MetLife Stadium. So, we will see a surge in traffic, in and around game days. We've recently announced that we will be sort of a destination for it. We've done a few of these large sort of entire property takeovers where we have a multitude of different experiences that we offer to our customers. So we're really excited about that. We have a lot of our retail and entertainment components that are being activated for those few weeks during the tournament. And going back to sort of what I was saying earlier about on the international front, we've been definitely thinking about how we are going to cater to those customers that are definitely never been here before and might not necessarily be used to North American venues. So, when we think about localization for content and things like that, it's super exciting. There's a lot of details that have been out there. We've had some press releases recently that have gone into a little bit more about that, but it's going to be crazy for sure. Super exciting. We can't wait for sure. Definitely a lot of work going into it. We've been preparing for a long time, and it's going to be fun for sure.
I'm very excited for you. Very excited for you. Very excited for the property, you guys, the fans, the people visiting your venue. To put the cherry on top, do you guys have a Pop Mart in your mall? Because I think that would really just, for all those Labubus, really put it over the edge.
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. We have it all three. Yeah, all three of our centers. Yeah, for sure. I think when it opened up, there was the longest line you've ever seen for that.
I wasn't in that one, of course. No, that wasn't me. I wasn't waiting. So I do have one last question. So we did talk about this before I segued, obviously, to the FIFA World Cup, because I do think that is extremely exciting for you guys and should be talked about more. Where do you see the digital experience at the venue or just in general in the market heading to in the next 5 or 10 years? Obviously, AI is at the tip of everyone's tongue. Obviously, everyone's trying certain things. Where do you see it landing for the digital experience in the next 5 to 10 years? Is it like hyper personalization? Is it AI goggles? Like where do you see it?
Yeah, I think first and foremost is the hyper personalization, which has been a trend certainly for the last 5 or so years. But now with these emerging technologies that are coming out there, and also, to be honest, their flexibility of which developers are building platforms to work within your ecosystem as opposed to being a standalone product, has really enabled brands that have resources, within an engineering or product team to, layer in and build those experiences take advantage of them. So definitely hyper personalization, I would say, is one of them. And we have some ideas around how that goes beyond just their personal device. When we think about those digital physical directories, is there a way for you to somehow indicate or authenticate yourself onto them and sort of see your plan for that day? So that's one of them for sure. Contextual messaging is going to be super critical, both from assisting guests throughout their journey, but also being able to convert. More so. The one example we have thought about a lot is post, let's say a NFL game at MetLife, or let's say a FIFA game. If we understand that traffic might be heavy, we can offer you a discount at one of our restaurants to just wait it out, have dinner there. So things like that, really being able to use that logic to drive more conversions, longer dwell time. And I think that trying to anticipate what the customer wants or is going to want post whatever their experience is again something that's not necessarily new. You've seen obviously in the hospitality industry for decades. They're anticipating what the guest might want, but that's being done really on a one-to-one basis with a staff member or a very high manual. So it's allowing, I think, brands that are investing into it to do it really more at scale, more personalized, touching more of their audience than just a subset of them that they have, deep ingrained loyalty and knowledge of, because the technology is sort of enabling you to create things that you can make inferences from what one customer who you know a lot about might fall into a lookalike with another one who you might not necessarily know about. You can be able to give them a similar experience, where you're able to serve up information or deals or things that are likely to convert, probably at a lower percentage, but still at a significantly higher percentage than it might have been at a lower investment, both from resourcing and also time that you spent with them getting to know them. So super exciting. And it's obviously a very fluid environment in the technology landscape these days. So we tend to keep our eyes out and try to see what's emerging and how we can incorporate it when it makes sense to. So definitely a great time to be in this industry for sure.
It's fun times. Very exciting. Very happy to hear everything. I will say thank you for taking time out of your busy day. Thank you for coming on and answering my mindless questions and going on the rants with me. I appreciate your time. Is there any parting words you want to leave for the listeners?
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't had a chance to come visit, definitely do look me up. Happy to keep talking about it. Feedback, if you have anything to let us know. Like I said early on, we really do live and breathe it.
Yep.
So by all means, it would be great to hear from anyone out there.
Yeah, and when he says live and breathe it, I can thoroughly double up on that. Like American Dream and all their properties, they live and breathe malls and their properties and the shoppers' feedback. So thank you again for taking the time. Very happy to have you on. Thank you to all the mall talkers for listening. See you next time.
Absolutely.
Bye.